The history of Yuwongdai Lighthouse can be traced back to the 18th century during the reign of the Qianlong Emperor. Huge waves and submerged reefs always led passing ships into danger. Therefore, a 7-story pagoda was built by the local officials on the highest point of Yuwongdao in Wayan village, Shiyu Township. That building was originally called Shiyu Pagoda, which until 1875 relied on the beam of an oil lamp to guide ships sailing across the Formosa Strait to safe water. In that year, a British engineer, David Henderson, demolished the Shiyu Pagoda and rebuilt a modern lighthouse on the same site. This is the Yuwongdao Lighthouse that we see today. Yuwongdao Lighthouse was the first modern lighthouse in Taiwan and is the only lighthouse still using a traditional clockwork system to rotate the light. The iron tower is painted white and is 11 meters tall. The interior of the lighthouse has an iron spiral staircase leading up to the lantern. There are 2 tablets in the compound commemorating the Shiyu Pagoda, 2 foghorns and 3 iron cannons. Cannons were once used to fire fog signals. Professor Stephen Davis was born into a family of sailors. He has carried out extensive research on the history and the internal mechanism of the Yuwongdai Lighthouse.
This light, it has 2 focal lenses. They're 6 seconds apart. If you time the light, it takes 30 seconds to go around a complete circle. And in that 30 seconds, it flashes twice because you've got these 2 lenses. You've got this bevel gear that turns it through right angles into another bevel gear inside the housing here that goes through right angles down into the main mechanism, which is down here. And that drum is unrolling very slowly. The wire is going down like this, translating that very slow creep into the fast drive that you can see winding the light around. And how that's done is that on the end of the wire there's a big lead weight which you can adjust. It's made of plates of lead and you can put as many plates on until you get the wire going down at exactly the right rate. So the whole thing is quite complicated to calibrate. When you first fit it all up, the wire hasn't stretched. So gradually... cheap and easy guns for the insurers to be satisfied and give you a new premium. My guess is that these were probably ex-pirate cannon which had been thrown overboard when a patrol came up, and somebody has found them and put them in place there on a mound that may well originally have been used for the pond. On this side it's just a little tower thing. On the other side, it's 2 things like a loudspeaker. And that's a modern electromechanical foghorn. Basically, it works like a big loudspeaker. You've got a diaphragm vibrating in the back, and that booms out a signal. I don't know how many horns.
The traditional lighthouse mechanism remains intact and is still working well.
渔翁岛是最古老灯塔，现在目前唯一还是用手盘上去的大齿轮带动小齿轮架。传统的方式它是零故障，它故障率很低。你现在先进的这些电子方面，它故障率很高，所以还是原来传统的保持这个机械原理这个比较好。
A traditional mechanism will not last without regular maintenance by generations of lighthouse keepers. They take shifts watching the lighthouse and winding up the weight that drives the mechanism every 3 hours. In addition, they need to observe the weather and record ships passing by. They may also signal any ship they see heading for danger. The lighthouse is far from the hustle and the bustle of the city. What lighthouse keepers face every day is monotony. They spend countless lonely nights at the lighthouse, showing their acceptance of their responsibilities to sailors.
灯塔都在离岛啊，都在不是很热闹的地方啦，不是孤岛就是在那个没有热闹的地方啦。
Zheng Tian Song is a retired lighthouse keeper living in Wai'an village. He has served in different lighthouses in Penghu during the past 30 years.
我在东极屿、还有木斗屿、还有渔翁岛，就是3个灯塔。做工作就是保养啊，给那个船只指示啊，晚上开灯啊，天亮就关灯啊，还有温度几度啊，还有那个关切，你关切多远啊，都要登记，每一天都东北风啊、东南风什么都要登记，天气什么天气都要登记。
Although lighthouse keepers always face a dull life, their memories of lighthouses are precious.
爸爸是在灯塔工作，从小就在灯塔长大，一起过去那一边生活。灯塔就等于是我们的游乐场，那前面那块草皮就是我们打棒球的地方，那个炮台就是我们溜滑梯的地方，前面那一块更大的草皮就是我们踢足球的地方，外面有个那个小女孩的墓，对不对？那个是我们看夕阳的地方，反正整个灯塔就是我们的游乐园这样子。
100 years ago, the Yuwundai lighthouse keeper was a Westerner with Chinese staff. The keeper came from overseas to work on this isolated island to keep the lighthouse shining and guide ships safely past dangers. One of them is buried just outside the compound, looking out over the sea.
You can't see the far side of it because if you look at the grave, there's this cross that faces over there, and on the seaward side, so facing away from the lighthouse. So out here on this beautifully mown, clipped lawn looking out over the sea, there's just one prominent feature, this gravestone. It reads, "In memory of Nellie O'Driscoll, 1890. Who was Nellie O'Driscoll? All we know is that she was Christian, it's a cross, and that she was related to the lighthouse keeper, Thomas O'Driscoll. Was she a wife? Was she a daughter? Was she Chinese? Was she European? We don't know the answer to any of that. We just think it's probable that she was Chinese. Nellie was a common name given by Western lighthouse keepers to their Chinese wives. And she's buried looking exactly west towards Xiamen, China, her home.
Advanced ECDIS and GPS have not yet displaced lighthouses as aids to navigation.
电子海图，你说它准，它很准；你说它就有时候就会有意外，所以你除了这个之外，你还一定要有目视和灯塔，你要导航。
Captain Yu, 59 years old, has been at sea for more than 30 years. Sea, ships, and lighthouses have been an integral part of his life.
因为这个灯塔它有它的光线啊，这灯塔这个1分钟它有几下啊，它闪几下，它上面都有灯光性质都有。如果这灯光性质你认为是对的，它这个灯塔一直在这个位置。我们看到灯塔的方位多少，我们就跟着它去导航，就是跟我们的眼睛看的是最准的。那电子仪器就会有误差。
311台华现在开始离码头向你报备，谢谢。
出发，谢谢。
好的。
245，请45度朝后。
4度朝后。
people in Penghu make a living from the sea, Yuwangdai Lighthouse helps orientate local fishermen and gives them reassurance.
那早期灯塔也是我们当地移民渔船，它整个回乡靠港的一个方向的一个辨别。那其实，在早期最大的建筑物就是灯塔，最明显的就是灯塔，那也是我们整个一个精神上的一个象征的一个地标。
但对我来说，我从小住在都市里面，我只能在书本上看到，我实际碰不到，因为过去那段时间灯塔是被禁止参观的，是不可以去接触的。那最近是因为管理上的这个管理权的转移，所以慢慢我们可以开放，让我们民众去接触灯塔，去了解灯塔。不过现在目前就灯塔来说，我们一般民众只是去参观，但并没有办法去很深入了解灯塔的过去的那段辉煌的历史。先让他们喜欢这个地方、这个氛围，然后他们再去探索它，那可能会对这方面的保存跟去维护会有帮助。
Lighthouses stand where the land ends and the sea begins. As the oldest lighthouse in Taiwan, Yuwangdai Lighthouse has witnessed ups and downs, yet still stands over the sea as a guardian with its shining beam, guiding passing ships to safe water.